And so today we're going to learn a bit more about what's called the schwa, especially when it is combined with what we call the dark L, so that you can say girl and world correctly. That's our goal.
Yeah, that's hard. And I know a lot of Spanish speakers and maybe most Latin people coming from Latin languages struggle with that because it's a very peculiar combination that altogether is difficult.
Yes, it is. You're right. You're right. So we're going to learn how to pronounce the sound individually, then we'll go into some words, then we'll go into some sentences, and then we'll get into a conversation. So we'll make it more natural. Okay.
Okay.
So let me write this down for you. The schwa R is when the R comes after a vowel and replaces the vowel. So we pronounce consonant to consonant. So let me give you some words here, and we'll see how this works. Repeat after me, please. Her.
Her.
Learn.
Learn.
Work.
Work.
Bird.
Bird.
So notice we had ER, EAR, OR, IR, but it's all the same pronunciation. It does not matter what the vowel is. So how do we pronounce this sound? You're going to keep your tongue in the middle, like that strong R that we learned before. But instead of circling your lips, you will not circle your lips with this sound. You're going to keep them open, but flared. And your teeth will be a little open. So let's do the teeth first. Let's open the teeth a little bit, like this.
So can we say that again? Is the tongue is in the middle?
Yep. Tongue is in the middle.
What
the
else?
Teeth are a tiny bit open, apart.
Teeth open.
And then open. Lips flare out.
Okay.
So it looks like this. Notice the lips do not circle, Ava. It doesn't do this.
Okay.
No, that's not the strong R. We don't want a circle. We want more of a square.
Okay, girl.
So let's only do the sound first. And I want you to see here on the side of my mouth, you'll see some muscle, and you're gonna try to see that with your mouth too.
Okay. Okay.
But bring those lips out. Yes. There. But now I want you to bring your teeth a little bit more open. I see them pretty closed. Okay, now look at your mouth. Your lips are doing this. You want push them. There. Yes.
So they are a little bit rounded, but not as rounded.
Yeah, I like to say more like a square, honestly, or like a rectangle. Yes. Now the next point is, since the schwa R is replacing the vowel, it needs to be a longer sound. So it can't be learn. It needs to be learn, longer, drag the sound. Learn. Right. Yes.
Okay. Term. Term. Turnout. Surprise. Maternity.
So this one is interesting. That first T is a real T. So it's not a flap T, even though it's between, maternity.
But it's between vowels though.
Yeah. So interestingly, when a T is between two vowels, it's the flap T. But when it is between two vowels of an unstressed syllable.
Okay.
When the T starts a stressed syllable, it is no longer a flap T.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Maternity.
Okay. Maternity. Circumstance.
So let's get that M also. Circumstance. Yes, good. That you got that. Now we want to combine that specifically with the L. So in American English, there are two types of L's, and this is, and as you mentioned, is a little bit tricky for Spanish speakers because Spanish speakers will usually just say la, la, la. Everything is up here. But we have something called the dark L. And the dark L is when the L is after a vowel. And the sound, I'll show you, we have what's called the clear L and the dark L. Look at my mouth and you'll see why it's called this. Love, love. You can see my tongue, it's clear. Love, love. You can say that very easily. So when the L is before a vowel. La, la. But watch here now. Ball. Did you see my tongue? Ball.
No.
Cold. So notice my mouth, it looks dark. You can't see the L. You can't see the tongue, and that's why it's called the dark L. And so
but that is there really a difference of when you pronounce it?
Majorly. Let me show you, for example. Ball, ball. Mal, mall. Cold, cold.
But so with Spanish people, we are not doing it right, do we?
No.
We don't. I don't even notice the difference.
Yes. So what's happening here is I want you to try this sound with me, okay? I want you to take your tongue. You're going to put it here on the bottom of your teeth. And we're going to start with the schwa. And then it's like you're going to swallow. Oh.
Oh.
Good. And keep that tongue here. So I want you to imagine like this. Ooh. Oh. So watch your mouth, your tongue, Eva, you're doing this. Oh.
Okay.
You want to keep your tongue down here. Watch with me.
So that means the tongue doesn't go up?
Right, for the dark L. Preferably. Some people bring it up, but it's preferable that it doesn't go up, especially for you as a Spanish speaker, or it will sound like the other L. Okay. So you want to keep your tongue down here, but practice with me. It's a 2-step. So let's just do and then throw your head back like this. Oh. Good. You feel that deep in your throat? Now I'm going to show you something that's a little bit gross, but you're a mom, you've seen different things. So you're going to take a sip of water and I want you to feel this. I'm going to do something. Gargle. When I gargle, that's where the L is coming from. So like this. That is the dark L. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It's trying to say an L, but without moving your tongue.
Yeah, it's honestly, to be honest with you, it has nothing to do with the L. Like it's a whole other sound. Okay. Because the pure L is like this. La, la. It's pure. But this dark L is like a whole different sound. It has nothing to do with the movement of the L. So it's like you're swallowing. It's like you're gargling water. Oh.
Okay.
So I want you to try that with me. Yes, good, Eva. Do that together.
Okay. So the L, when it's after the schwa? No.
Yes.
L after the schwa becomes dark.
Yes. When it's after any vowel, actually, I'll show you some. Yeah, but the schwa R is tricky because R is a consonant, but really it's acting as a vowel. That's why it gets a little tricky.
Okay.
But let me show you. I'm gonna provide you all of this practice. So
you'll have. Can you say the word goal? I have a goal.
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 That tongue down. Call.
Call.
Yes. So we don't call. I'll call you. No.
Okay.
Call you.
Call you.
Yes. Eva, You sound like music to my American ears. It just sounds so much clearer to hear you say that, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's something I didn't even notice before. Maybe I could say, it doesn't look like I couldn't imagine that was my L, but I know I make sometimes say, oh, my goal, I have a goal. And maybe I may say to myself, that doesn't sound well, but I didn't know what was the problem.
Mm-hmm. This is
Okay.
it. It's just a little fine tuning. Yeah, just a little fine tuning. Yep.
Okay.
Wheel.
Will.
Help.
Help.
Okay, so that's a little bit deeper. Help.
Help.
So we're going to take a break because I know that this is like a mind-blowing concept. These two sounds are uniquely American, the schwa R and this dark L. Okay.
And I was wondering, do you think sometimes, because when I'm trying to practice pronunciation, I'm not sure what it works first. I came to realize some sounds, firstly with the muscle memory. I mean, firstly through a mechanical approach, but then then it's like unconsciously I start doing it right. And I know before I used to pronounce some things a bit worse, of course. And now little by little I improved. And the first approach was with a mechanical approach, paying attention to, but then if someone asks me now, how can you pronounce this? Or how could you improve this? I don't remember, I don't know. But I know now it sounds closer to what the real sound is. So I'm not sure if because I'm trying to note everything, and maybe for the first approach it's fine, but I think later I shouldn't be so close to am I doing it with a rectangle? I am not. What's your experience?
Thank you so much for sharing that with me. So my experience and my recommendation for you is to start with a mechanical approach because you're creating muscle memory. But the goal is to then not have that so much present because you want to get out of your head when you're in the middle of a conversation, because if you're in the middle of a conversation, you're thinking about all of that, it will impact your fluency. And we don't want that.
Yeah.
So if you're able to pronounce clearly and at the same time not have to think about the mechanics, beautiful, Eva. That's the goal, because that means natural English. So are the rules important? Are the mechanics important? Absolutely. When? At the beginning.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So now that we've learned the schwa R and the dark L, our goal is to combine those two sounds. Okay. So let's practice these two sounds separately, and then we're going to combine them. We'll do some words, and then we're going to get into the meat of the lesson. Let's go.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
Earl. Yes. Earl. Good. And then you hold that L. Earl. Yes. Okay. You're getting. So now we're gonna get into those hefty words in English. Ready?
Okay.
Cultural. Yes, because we have dark L, schwa R, dark L. Cultural.
Okay.
Rural. Okay, hold that L a little bit deeper and longer, Eva. I want to help you fine tune. Rural. Yes. Okay, now I'm going to say a few more words, and then we're going to get into some conversation. Ready? Girl. Okay, that was it. You just said girl. Yes. Okay. World. Yes. Twirl.
Which one is that one?
So like twirl.
I don't know that word.
You don't know it? Okay. So it's like moving in a circle.
Okay, twirl.
Yes. Yeah.
Twirl. Treatment of girls in different parts of the world, of course, it's different, and that depends on the country, on the culture behind, the background of the country, the human rights that are recognized in that particular country. So let's take an example, like for example,
Example, get that a little bit deeper there.
example,
Yeah.
huge differences in the treatment of girls in the around the world.
The
The
There.
world.
Let's review what we discussed today.
Okay.
Today, we've learned the schwa R, the dark L, and then how to combine those. What is your biggest takeaway from today's session? What did you learn?
The best takeaway is that there is a dark L. There is a different kind of L that I didn't even know. And I may kind of have the intuition that in some words they didn't sound right, but I didn't know why. I know, I mean, with girls and world, I know it's difficult for me. I know it's not what, I mean, I have a problem with this, but I didn't even know I had a problem with the dark L. So that was a discovery.
Good.